Welcome to Building Great Sales Teams, a show dedicated to making sales teams tick, tick, boom. Great sales teams are not recruited, they are built, block by block. Let's get to work.
All right, guys, we got episode 9 today, and it's a solo episode, going to be super tactical. So if you're able to, take some notes on this one, and this is going to be all about the script and the playbook to develop that. And so basically what you need to do is break it into 4 parts. All right, you got your intro, qualify, presentation, and close. And if you do this properly, you shouldn't really even have a close. I don't spend a whole lot of time on the close because I'm more focused on the qualify that gets me the proper presentation that I don't have to close, right? And by the time I do get to the close, it's just one sentence. Would you prefer this option or this option, which is a 2-option close? All right, so knowing that we're working to that, let's get into the intro. Intro is pretty simple. Who, what, and why, right? My name is Doug Mitchell. I'm here with AT&T. You know, we've had a lot of demand from customers in the neighborhood getting set up for AT&T Internet, right? And so this is just an example, right? You can swap any business in and out of this. And the most important part to this is to make it 3 words on your script. 3 words, right? And it could even be a blank, which is their name. And then the next thing is what business you're in, or what your company name is called, and then why. And you may just put like 2 or 3 words on that bullet that kind of reminds them of, you know, what to say in that situation, right? With a script in general, break it into bullet points, make it super simple because they need to be able to put their own spin on it, all right? You're going to give them freedom to add in their own spin on things, okay? All right, so let's get into the qualify. So simply put, an easy way to develop a qualification script is 3 questions, okay? These questions are going to be questions that make sense to whatever industry you're selling in, all right? So like I have a client right now, he does car wraps, right? And so one of my questions for that would simply be is how are you branding your company in the marketplace right now? That is a discovery question. And then my next question would be, do you find that customers have a hard time identifying you when you show up to the job site? Okay. And that's a discovery question, and it also creates a pain point, right? And so something else I might do to discover what would be their dominant buying motive is ask them, you know, what is your number one goal with any marketing and advertising that you're doing? And it's typically like to get more customers, to make more money. Okay, that's great, but what's your real goal at the end of the day? What are you going to do with that money, right? So you want to go very surface level on the first question. You want to go kind of tactical on the second question. And then you want to go kind of deep on the third question, right? Because with every customer you're dealing with, you want to improve their lifestyle, right? And sometimes we are going to need to get a little personal in order to do that. So that third question maybe needs to be like, okay, if you get more customers and your business does an extra $100,000 in revenue, what are you going to do for yourself? Are you going to go on vacation? You know what I mean? Whatever the case is. And, you know, obviously this is if you're selling B2B. If you're selling B2C, it's a lot easier to do that, right? Because you're talking about products that directly improve their personal lifestyle, right? So going back to the qualify, you want 3 qualifying questions. And your goal for that qualify is to identify their pain points, right? And their dominant buying motives, okay? And so those questions should be geared to doing that, all right? So the next piece is the presentation, all right? In the presentation, the first thing that you're going to do is solve their pain points. There's typically 3 major points that you're going to make in that presentation that because of the qualifying questions you did, they're going to solve their pain points. And again, you know your industry pain points of your customers. You know what I'm saying? So in your presentation, you want to have 3 major goals. And it's to, like for the wrap customers, right? It's to increase brand awareness. It's so that your customers can identify you when you show up to the job site. And then the third one is going to be to add revenue to your bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And that way, when you show up to a job site, the customers at the job site next to it can see that, hey, they're using XYZ plumber or XYZ electrician or XYZ dog walking service. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to add revenue to your bottom line. And so that's 3 parts of the presentation that either solve their pain points or promote their dominant buying motive, which at the end of the day is to increase revenue for B2B. A B2C customer, it may be increase the quality of their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So you walk them through it, you get them to the height of impulse, and the height of impulse is increasing the quality of their lifestyle. The height of impulse on B2B is increasing their revenue, right? And so when you're writing that qualification piece, again, it's 3 bullet points, 3 things that you're going to go after in that presentation. And then you want to make sure that when you train them on this, they're tying it back to the pain points and tying it back to the customer's dominant buying motive. So again, you're like a doctor. You're prescribing something specifically for that customer, but at the same time, it's the same 3 goals every time in that presentation, right? And so now, once you explain to them those 3 goals and then you tie it back to the things you learned in the qualification, now it's time to close. And the close is very simple. Would you prefer a partial wrap because of XYZ budget, or would you prefer a full wrap? You know what I'm saying? Notice that there's 2 options, but both of them end in a sale, right? And again, if you qualified properly and you presented properly, you shouldn't have to have a hard close on this. You know what I'm saying? But that is the point at which objections will come up. So you've written your script, you got your intro, you got your qualify, you got your presentation, and then you got your closing line, which is, again, 2 options that you want to put in there. And so that is the script. But what I like to do on the back of that script is I like to list out maybe anywhere from 4 to 8 common objections, right? And so I'll list out those common objections and then the way that I overcome them. And we can get into a lot further in another episode on how to overcome objections and how to write training that'll help your sales reps overcome objections. But on the back of that script, just write out the 8 common objections and how you overcome them. And I can probably tie them back to 3 things, which is I like to call GIFs. This is training developed by the original door-to-door OGs. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to get into it all, but GIFs is Jones effect, indifference, fear of loss, and sense of urgency. And it's very simple. Jones effect, this is what's going on in the neighborhood, right? I'm creating the Jones effect, right, to overcome the objection. Indifference, hey, no big deal. Completely understand that that's a high price for you. We'll just do a partial wrap this time and then let you get the effects of that. And then next time, maybe we can do a full wrap if you believe in the product after that, right? So that's indifference. Fear of loss is, hey, I completely understand. You want to check with your CFO real quick. But I will say that our calendar is booking up for the rest of the week. And I know we're booked out 2 weeks after that. So I may not be able to get you in for another month. So let's get this, at least get the install date locked in. And then if you have any issues with your CFO, then you can let me know after that, right? And so that's a soft sale, don't get me wrong, but using fear of loss is a great tool there. And then the last one is sense of urgency, okay? And this has to do with the terminology that you're using once they say the objection, you know, which typically I use sense of urgency in the intro when I'm dealing with a sweeping objection. Oh, I don't have time right now. Oh, I completely understand, but real quick, let me just tell you about these new wraps that we have coming out, right? So that's sense of urgency. So again, getting back to the script, intro, qualify, present, close on one side. And then on the back side, you can have your common objections and the ways that you overcome them using GIFs. And that's it, guys. That's the way that we do it, to put it simply. And again, if you use bullet points, right? Forget the paragraphs, get away from the paragraph, in the heavy paragraph scripts, and use bullet points. It will allow your reps to, okay, I need to cover my bullet points, but I get to fill in the sentences the way that I want to, the way I speak, using my dialect, right? And that creates a custom presentation that I'm comfortable with as a new sales rep, because I get to talk the way I want to talk, not like salesy or how I think I should talk. I get to do it the way I want to, and then that'll come across in role play. You'll kind of get their style, lean into that, let them pitch in that style, and then they'll be a lot more successful as a sales rep. So good luck writing your scripts, guys. If you need any help, reach out to me. I'd love to help you on that front.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Building Great Sales Teams. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. Remember, great sales teams are not recruited. They are built block by block. Until next time.